Hello and welcome. This is Kristen from the Online Selling Show, and I'm here with another episode with my conversations from the driver's seat, where I'm talking about shipping and some of the craziness of things I've seen with the Whatnot program. There's been several other episodes. Some of them, maybe you've been doing shipping for a while and you can just skip. If you're just getting started in Whatnot and maybe you have been shipping for a while, I would highly recommend that you pay attention to part 3 and part 4 and probably this episode as well. Maybe you can skip the first two. They're a little bit more basic. So today's I want to talk about is a little bit more of the considerations for when you just would need a little bit of something different because of what you're shipping. I want to talk about two types of things that they have for shipping profiles. And that is items that maybe because of their size, there is one that you can limit the number of items per these virtual boxes that buyers have. They do give you an option on the back end, but you will need to set it in your shipping profiles. You would not set it in the actual listing for the item. And if that is an example of, I want to say like selling cookie jars, maybe that is something that when you're selling one of them, you're selling them in a reasonable sized box, which is the standard box that I told you about, which is the 12 under the 108, or, under the 5 pounds. So in that example, you only want to have the buyers getting the shipping cost per box, and you recognize that you can't take 2 of these giant cookie jars and stick them in that same box and ship them safely and get them to the buyer without them being damaged. So there is a shipping profile for that. If you're selling some items like that where you cannot, I had an example where I was saying that maybe you're selling decorative pillows and you putting them together makes it into a more dimensional size box that's going to have upcharges. That may be a good example why you want to use that one. They have a second shipping profile, which is where you can limit the amount of times based on weight. In that example, my example would be for you is that maybe you're selling something very heavy. Maybe you're selling barbells is something I could think of. If you add 2 of them, now you may be dealing with like a 25-pound box, and that for you, trying to add 2 of them may be really, really weighty. Maybe you've done your math. You understand that shipping 1, you can put it in a flat rate box, but you can't fit 2 into that flat rate box. Or maybe you figured out a way that you could very effectively ship 1, but if you add a second of something to that, you're going to become now maybe into a heavyweight situation. So that is the 2 shipping profiles they allow you to have on the back end of this program, where you can set the profiles up on the example of them bidding and not having them combined or have a limited amount of what can be combined. If it is something that is very different in all the other different anomalies, and you're going to see that standardized shipping is just not an item, again, I highly recommend you check out the USPS. I know that there was a woman that I know who was doing like different things like drop shipping or stuff like that. I don't know if drop shipping is really going to be for this platform, but maybe you have a way or what you're going to do with that. That may be an example where you just need to control it and do it with a free shipping model. I have not seen yet on this platform, even if you're offering free shipping, my belief is you still have to print the label through the Whatnot program. So those are examples. Like I said, I know somebody that had done drop shipping, but I don't believe her example would have worked here because of how the drop shipper would be just doing the shipping themselves. So I highly recommend, if you're falling into some of these other things where maybe you're selling packaging that is not normal for them. I know like the tubular packaging was difficult for them, where if it's not rectangular or square in shapes with corners on it, those types of things, sometimes maybe the free shipping would work for you and you build it in to your purchase price. But go in, look at the shipping profiles. The only thing I have found so far was those 2. And otherwise, I have been selling very standardized stuff. I haven't run into those issues yet. but I was kind of a little surprised that they would not allow you in any way to purchase shipping off your own accounts and just add a tracking number to it. I thought I could handle that very effectively to try to get out of some of these ways of what they charge the buyers, but I have not found any way that you can do that. Everything I have found was you have to make the purchase through their program, whether it's free or you charge. That's another reason why I feel it's a little confusing, a little bit of a little craziness going in there. But if you have any other questions or comments, please leave them below. I will try to address them in a future episode. I'm going to say that this right now is where I will, oh, I was going to say I would end the series, but no, I do want to do one more, and I will show you my actual shipping in my next one as to what screens are there and how I'm working myself around on the back end of it. So I'm going to say bye in this episode. I will catch you in the next one.